Guys, welcome back to Furby's Kitchen. My name is Shane Furby. I am so excited to come at you today, man, because I got one of my personal favorite classics. I'm born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland, so I'm gonna bring you a traditional style Maryland crab cake. We're gonna stuff that inside of a nice rockfish, also known as a striped bass. Out on the East Coast, we call it rockfish. Probably a really nice delicacy. You see it all over different restaurant menus. And I'm gonna show you how I like to perfect this perfect dish and give you some of my hometown flavor, man. So let's get started. Let's talk about our protein a little bit, man. Sourced right here from the Colorado River, South Cove, Arizona. Me and my boy Devo went out fishing, had a phenomenal time, caught a bunch of striped bass and some catfish as well. Definitely check out the catfish video. I got that coming at you next. But now let's talk about the rockfish, man. Very soft, delicate fish. Now when you're filleting these, I went ahead and pre-filleted all the fish. Okay, there are gonna be small pin bones. Make sure you take a pair of needle nose pliers, food grade of course, or some tweezers. Just pull out those pin bones because we want a nice fillet. Now I got everything sort of here. I do like to put all my fish on a parchment because it's gonna take some of that moisture out. Nobody likes really soggy fish, and sometimes soggy fish comes from too much water in your fish, okay? I like to lay out some linen sometimes, make sure obviously it's very clean, paper towels, let some of that moisture soak out of the actual fish itself before you actually start cooking it. So starting off with my rockfish, I'm just gonna go ahead and just make sure they're nice and patted dry. I'm just gonna season them with a little bit of salt and pepper on both sides. I'm just using a fresh ground pink Himalayan salt. Beautiful. Fresh ground black pepper. Not too coarse, fairly fine. Just want to make sure that the fish is nice and seasoned on both sides. Okay, so for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and flip these. We're gonna get on the inside. I want the flesh side or the actual beautiful side. The side that's, I want it to be sticking out. That's our presentation side. So I'm gonna flip the fish and then that's what we're gonna roll and we're gonna stuff these particular fillets. Okay, I tried to keep all the fillets per fish so that way, you know, you're getting one fish per serving. These were right around 22-inch striped bass. So I'm looking at about 3 ounces per fillet of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and give a little bit of salt and pepper on these guys too. Not too liberal because we're gonna have plenty of seasoning in our stuffing as well. Beautiful. All right, now down to my favorite part, guys, crab cakes. Probably one of my favorite things. Now, the one thing that's really hard to source here in Las Vegas is our crab meat, okay? I am using a pasteurized crab meat jumbo lump because I want beautiful clusters in there. Obviously, on the East Coast, guys, go to your local seafood market, get some really fresh jumbo lump. I love the jumbo lump. Make sure we're not gonna mix it too much because we're gonna keep all these beautiful morsels intact, all right? So let's get started. 1 pound jumbo lump crab meat is gonna be started off in our bowl. Okay, our mixture is very, very simple, okay? I hate when people butcher crab cakes, and if you're gonna make it a chef-inspired crab cake, make it. Just don't call it a Baltimore crab cake, please. I'm sure everybody else is gonna be happy that you stop calling Maryland crab cakes when they get a bunch of other stuff in there. Very simple, guys. I got a half a cup of mayonnaise. I have 1/8 of a cup of just regular yellow mustard. I have about 3 tablespoons of Old Bay, okay? Old Bay is a seasoning definitely used on the East Coast, very popular all over. You can spice it up. That's something if you want it really spicy, you can jazz it up. And we're gonna use 1 egg. For our binder, when we talk about crab cakes, man, let's keep it all crab and less cake, okay? The less binder, the better. We just want enough so everything can be nice and formed together inside of our stuffed rockfish, but we don't want it overfilling, okay? Less breading, more crab, okay? So I just have 2 pieces of white bread that I went ahead and just did in a very, kind of a medium dice. I cut off the crust because I just want that inner part, okay? And we're gonna kind of tear this bread over the top. So let's get started. I'm gonna make our mix, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and add 1/8 of a cup of mustard right to my mayonnaise. Beautiful. Old Bay. And I love a liberal amount of Old Bay. I'm gonna leave it a little bit more for the end because I'm gonna dust the rockfish with it. 1 egg. You guys wanna keep it classy? Use 1 egg. Beautiful. Now this is our primary base, okay? They make any crab cake mix. I'm just gonna make sure everything's nice and mixed together. I'm so excited, man. I love crab cakes, man. This is something I was born and raised with. When I was a kid, my mom used to send me to the seafood store with $5. I just go and buy 2 big old soft shell crabs, a little bit of Old Bay flour, white toast. That was kind of my sandwich for the day. Maybe even a little like fresh tomato to finish, but we're gonna keep it classy, guys, out. Now, we're using jumbo lump here, guys. You can use any other type of crab meat. I wouldn't recommend claw. Make sure it's either back fin or lump, okay? This stuff's a little bit more on the more expensive side. If we're trying to save a little bit more money, you go ahead with just a regular lump, okay, or back fin. Will definitely be just as fine, okay? So my mixture is coming together. I'm gonna make sure it's very, very well incorporated, so that way it's a very even distribution when we go ahead and pour it over top of our crab. I've made crab cakes with different binders as well. I find that just using kind of just a softer white bread, it gives you a better texture, okay? It's gonna be a little bit softer. Sometimes if you use regular breadcrumbs or even crackers, okay, it will dry your crab cake out, so you might have to balance out your mixture as well. So I'm gonna take our base that we just made, pour it right over top of the crab. Very nice. All right, guys, so when I'm saying being delicate, this is what I mean. We're just gonna very lightly, gently come under and over, under and over, under and over, okay? One last thing I like to put in there is a little bit of freshness. Some people use roasted red bell peppers. I'm just gonna use raw red bell pepper. I like a little bit of bite, a little bit of crispness that's gonna actually go in there, a little bit of texture in my crab cake itself, man. So just gonna use half a bell pepper. Beautiful. I think it adds a little bit of color in there as well. Very palatable. All right, guys, one last thing we're just gonna finish up with is a very, very light squeeze. We're gonna be using our lemon. Then might be a couple of seeds. Just make sure you don't put any seeds in there. I'm just gonna put a little bit of lemon juice. Finish. It's gonna freshen up our products. Now my oven's going right now, man. My oven's going at about 375 degrees. I'm just using a regular bake cycle. We're gonna bake these for roughly about 20 minutes, okay? And I'm gonna finish them with a broiler. We're gonna brush them a little butter, golden brown to finish. I'll show you how we do the vegetable accoutrement to come out. And also, I want it to be very soft inside. I don't want it to be a very, very firm crab cake. So I'm gonna take roughly about a handful of this mixture, probably right around like six ounces. I'd say probably like 6 or 7 ounces. Right in the middle of our rockfish fillet. Okay, look how beautiful that looks. We're gonna push it down, and we're gonna wrap our fish, holding it together. And we're gonna finish this with a little bit of butter on top. Let's try that one more time. I'm a seafood lover, man. I love shrimp, crab, and everything in between. But with the fresh rockfish, we have a little more satisfaction because we caught these bad boys. Looks a little bit messy, guys, but don't worry. All right. Right at the end, we're gonna finish this. I'm gonna go ahead and just brush it with butter. Oh, look at that. Reserve your butter so that way we're gonna be brushing this at the end as well, just to give it a nice little sheen. Now, some rockfish fillets are gonna be a little bit bigger. Like I said, ours are smaller, so I went ahead and did 2 fillets and wrapped them. If you have a bigger one, just feel free to use 1 fillet and wrap them. I pushed them kind of close to each other, so that way they can't like spread out through the cooking process. They're gonna kind of lean on each other. All right, a little bit of butter there. What I like to personally finish off with, a little bit of home style, baby. Follow me right over here, about 375 degrees. We're gonna leave it in for about 15 minutes. I'm gonna check it with a thermometer just to make sure that everything's good. Right around 20 minutes, we're gonna finish with a broiler, get a nice little brown on top. Right this way. All right, guys, timer just went off. It's been 15 minutes in the oven. I'm gonna check my rockfish. Now, different fillets are gonna be, depends on the thickness of the fish itself. Right now, I think I need at least about another 5 minutes, then we're gonna finish in the broiler. So go ahead and just pop these guys right back in. All right, guys, my rockfish is looking amazing. As you can see, it's gonna have a nice little sheen. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and flip it from 375. I'm gonna broil it just to finish it. I'm gonna get a beautiful color on top. I'm gonna put it on high. Just keep a good eye on it. Take a little bit more of my butter, brush right on top of that beautiful rockfish. Altogether, it's been here about like 22 minutes, 23 minutes. We're gonna broil it for another like 2-3 minutes. I'm gonna get the nice top golden brown, beautiful, and we're gonna show you how to plate this guy. Be right back. I just finished up a little bit right at the end on the broiler because I just wanted to get a nice little color on top. They smell phenomenal. Rice pilafs all the way. I'm gonna let these rest for about 2-3 minutes, and then I'm gonna show you how we plate it all together with our grilled vegetables. All right, everyone, we got everything perfectly timed and cooked to perfection here. Have our grilled accoutrement, some grilled yellow squash that we just lightly seasoned, some grilled zucchini and grilled asparagus, our beurre blanc sauce that we checked out, we made from scratch, our stuffed rockfish that Devo and I caught out at South Cove, Arizona, stuffed with a Maryland style crab cake, and then also our rice pilaf, which you can check out as well, very traditionally done. These are all gonna go together. Let me show you how we're gonna plate and balance this dish perfectly. So I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna start layering out. Of course, my hands are very, very clean. I'm gonna layer out a couple pieces of zucchini and yellow squash right here at the base of the plate. Give it a nice little color contrast on the plate itself. Ring mold, always good to have. Our ring molds are very, very nice. It's gonna make our dish look very, very nice and eclectic here. Now that our rice is done, as you can see, I'm stirring it. Nice little fluffy texture to our rice itself. I'm gonna fill our ring mold using the back of the spoon just to kind of pat it down. You want it to be nice and firm in the middle here. Beautiful. See, I'm gonna take my ring mold now. Just gonna push a little bit of the rice in. I'll put the fish there. We'll cover that. I'll show you how to cover that guy up. Push it up against the side so that we have a nice little free form here. For our rice pilaf, ring mold comes off. I'm gonna put a beautiful little bouquet of asparagus right here on the side. Back to our rockfish. We'll take the first one we have here. Oh, she is hot and looking beautiful. Rockfish right in the center. Anytime you're plating protein, generally, you want to make sure that protein is at 12 o'clock. We're going to finish with our beurre blanc sauce. Give it a nice little stir to make sure everything's still nice and incorporated. Beurre blanc goes right over top of our fish. Stuffed with crab. And then we're just going to take a little bit with those beautiful shallots at the end and just kind of go around our dish. There you have it, guys. That's my rendition of the Maryland-style stuffed rockfish with crab meat, house-made beurre blanc sauce, grilled vegetables, and also a house-made rice pilaf as well. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in and joining me here at Furby's Kitchen. I'm Shane Furby. Thank you so much for joining us. Check out all our other videos, Cook Garden Life, and please subscribe.
We caught this fish. I caught this fish.
Oh my God.